began, and let's dive in. Once again, it's good to have everybody here. I am already excited. I did a little bit of my research before coming on this webinar, so I know it's a very, very interesting topic. But before we dive in, I know we have to do a bit of introductions. Welcome to the Wherein Legal Insight series. It's a series where we try to shed more light on legal topics and, and carry people along. So first of all, I would just like to say my name is Adetayo Oduwole, an associate and Wherein, and I will be your host today for this wonderful webinar. And there is none other than Mr. He has told me to let go the salutations. Well, please permit me, sir. Please kindly permit me. None other than Mr. Adetayo Oduwole. And today's topic would be on an investor's perspective of the Nigerian free zone scheme. So at Wherein is a full-service law firm. Our practice spans from commercial, dispute resolution, telecom, property, and all of the legal services that you can think of. So today, as I said, our Legal Insight series borders on an investor's perspective of the Nigeria free zone scheme. And I will just talk a little bit about Mr. Adetayo Oduwole. Mr. Adetayo Oduwole is a dual qualified lawyer in Nigeria and Canada with over 18 years of experience shaping Nigeria's regulatory and business landscape. He currently leads business and compliance at Etana, where he helps founders navigate regulations and unlock opportunities within the Etana zone and beyond. Before joining Etana, he led legal and operations at two of Nigeria's largest free zones, driving reforms and facilitating multi-million-dollar foreign investments across sectors like technology, manufacturing, power, and trade. Adetayo is passionate about helping businesses understand market entry into free zones in Nigeria, making him the perfect guide for today's conversation. I'm sure you will all agree with me that the best person that can really speak on today's topic is none other than Mr. Adetayo Oduwole. I don't want to talk too much because we have such a very rich schedule to talk about. So I'm going to hand over the mic now to Mr. Adetayo. Mr. Adetayo is wonderful and is an opportunity and we're privileged to have you here. Welcome on board. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Adetola. When I'm looking for a job, I'll come to you to help me rewrite my CV because you've spoken so glowingly about me.
Okay.
But thank you once more.
So much.
Yeah, so I'll be sharing my screen and you could just let me know when you see my screen. Yes. Perfect. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can see your screen, sir.
Yeah, so let me just go to the, sorry. Great. So today we'll be talking about the Nigeria Free Zone Scheme. And as we know, all over the world, free zones have contributed a lot to the growth of different countries. We go to China, we go to the UAE, even the US and Singapore, several other countries have actually benefited from the free zone scheme. But today we are looking at the Nigerian scheme because each country has its own peculiarity when it comes to the free zone. And as earlier mentioned, my name is Adetayo Oduwole. I work with Etana. And we'd also be looking at a quick introduction of Etana, what Etana has to offer, especially when it comes to the new way of doing business in the free zone. So today also we'll look at the investor's perspective, what the investor looks at, what the investor sees when it's coming to the free zone, when it comes to the benefit to the country and the benefit to the investor himself. Okay, so a quick one. And we could just at random, I don't think people can unmute themselves, but we could at random either put it in the chat box or Adetola can unmute a few people to tell us. Can anybody identify any of the pictures on the screen? I could start with Adetola herself. Can you identify any of the pictures on the screen?
Okay. Let me see. Pardon me, please. I'm trying to see any of the pictures.
Yeah, we've got four
Okay, you mean
pictures.
like if they strike like if
Yeah, do you know where it is? Can you identify where it is? Do you have any overview of this might be this place?
well, I wouldn't say well, I know the one with the water looks like a waterlogged area, if that is allowed.
Okay. Okay. Did anybody put anything in the chat?
Okay,
No?
let me see if there's
Okay.
anybody in the
Or
chat.
you could just unmute anybody or someone
Okay,
that,
someone said no idea.
okay.
Okay, let me see if there's an answer though.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Oh, no idea. That's what you say. No idea.
No idea. Okay, good. Okay, so let me go to the next slide then.
Someone said somewhere in Nigeria.
Somewhere in Nigeria. Now, can anybody identify any of these pictures on the screen? Let's see. You could go to the chat. Let's see if people have a different opinion now. Any of the pictures on this screen.
Okay, someone said the first picture looks like somewhere in Ibejuleki.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. And
Okay, waiting. I'm trying to say, any other response, please? Someone said, is it somewhere along Lekki Ekpe Express? Then
okay, you're
someone
getting
said
close.
the fourth picture looks like Niger Delta.
Okay, nice.
Okay,
Okay. So
that's
we've,
what
we've
we
all
have
tried.
for now.
We've all
Okay.
tried. We've all tried. Now, the first picture here is Alaro City, which is also a free zone.
Wow.
The second picture is an overview of Lagos Free Zone with a slight view of the deep sea port, the Lekki deep sea port. The third picture is actually a close-up, an aerial view of the Lekki deep sea port, which is operational. And the fourth picture is also Lagos State, the Dangote refinery.
Actually, somebody already put it there too. Mr. Olushola Koka said the fourth picture is Dangote
Okay.
refinery.
Oh, yeah, okay. She's a lady, Odishala Koka. Okay, great. Now, the first picture, or the first set of pictures, were all taken from this same location. And the transformation we can see took place within the last less than 20 years. And that came about because of the free zone scheme. So from nothing, now if I go back now, you can see this building out here,
Yeah,
the building where my cursor is.
yeah, we
That is
can
the
see
same
that.
building to the left here.
Wow.
Just to show you that this is exactly the same location. From nothing to something in just about 20 years.
Wow.
Majorly from 2006 to now, especially maybe around 2008 when full construction really started to now. That is actually fast development when it comes to when we are looking at Africa, not looking at the West now with the higher technology level, but when you're looking at Africa. And that came about because of the free zone. So what the free zone has done is it has encouraged investors to come in, build, help develop the country, and then you give incentives to them for doing that. Now, the free zone has very established regulatory framework, and it's also established as customs enclaves. And the essence for this is to accelerate economic growth, to attract FDI. I'm going straight into the slides now so that we
Yeah.
can have time for questions. Yeah. To also attract FDIs, it creates employment. It has a lot of benefits to the country. And we are looking at the Nigeria Free Zone Scheme. It's majorly regulated by the Nigeria Export Processing Zones Authority, which is NEBZA. And our law is over 30 years old. Well-established
Yeah.
law, practicable, operational law. Presently, we have about 44 free zones. For the two private, two public, those are the two operational public zones. The others are private with different types of maybe public-private, PPP, public-private partnership, some fully private, different types of partnership structures for most of them. And so why do we have free zones? Because a lot of people criticize free zones. A lot of people feel, what's the essence of free zones, especially because of the incentives given to them. And please let me know if I am rushing or if I'm not clear enough. Okay. Now, the core goal is we have the mainland Nigeria. You protect the mainland Nigeria, which is everywhere outside the free zone, called customs territory, but create an enclave where you can create a business environment which is competitive, has the best and international global practice, and you can create an investment hub which takes away most of the red tapes and bottlenecks. So it's about having different hubs in different places and then ensuring that you can expand development across the country, while also ensuring that you reduce the rural-urban migration, because that's also a major problem, where everybody leaves one particular area, rushes to some developed parts of the country, and leaves the other parts of the country undeveloped. So you create free zones as hubs in different places. And it has a very good investor impact. It is designated, and for you to have a free zone, it has to be designated by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria because of the special customs incentives and other incentives there, and tax incentives. It's a de-risk sandbox where you could also go and to test your business and then see if the sector or the economy is the best place for you to thrive. And it's also for large-scale investments. It's good for backward integration and export-oriented industrialization, which is part of what we've been talking about in Nigeria for a long time. We want export-oriented industrialization in Nigeria, so we are not just a consuming economy. So let's look at the fiscal policy, especially when it comes to your capital or FDIs, and when it comes to helping you to improve your efficiency, not just for operations, but for capital, income, profit, and all. The first one is you have corporate income tax incentives. So you have a tax holiday for foreign source revenue and profits. You don't pay the standard 30%, which you're meant to have paid, or when you're bringing in your profit, the percentage that is taxed once you are making profit from it, when you're bringing in your capital. So it helps preserve your capital on a major basis. That's the first one. Also, because you have the CIT incentive, it encourages people to export. Because majorly, once you are built for export, it increases the GDP of the country, increases our export base, it increases the FDI we get, increases our foreign reserves. You do not pay taxes on income generated from exported services and products. When it comes to withholding tax on your dividends, you have a holiday on withholding tax on your dividends from profits made from the zone, operations of the zone. And it also helps maximize your investor take home. And this is what I tell people. People keep saying, how do we retain companies? We don't want them to take out capital. But if the country and the economy is good for you, you would not exit the economy. So I am not so big on we need to keep people's capital here. No, we need to create an enabling environment. We need to create a structure that would ensure your entity thrives. And once your entity thrives, you will not move out of the economy. So when it comes to VAT too, there is no value. You don't pay value at VAT. VAT-free once you're a free zone enterprise. And there is a deferred customs duty when you bring in machinery, you bring in your raw materials, you bring in equipment, you bring in your capital goods. So it reduces your capex, not completely eliminates, but almost eliminates high capex and your operational import cost, your initial operational import cost. We'll explain that in subsequent slides. And as I said, please let me know if I'm rushing. Okay. Now, when it comes to the free zone as the gateway for global trade, let me look at the cost. We look at the global export hub. We look at the local market incentivization, and we look at the operational flexibility of it. Now, this will also be explained in the table subsequently. When you bring in your raw materials, your equipment, and your capital goods into the free zone, you do not pay duty on it. It means that that initial overhead that you will have carried on upfront duty, you won't carry it. At the end of the day, it is meant to reduce your cost of import and your cost of setup. So the tariffs that you will have paid would be off, and it makes you more efficient when it comes to operational capital. When you're looking at this as an export hub now, because you can bring in those raw materials duty-free. Now, let me just paint an example. I bring in $1 million worth of raw materials, and I am going to use it within a period of 12 months. The duty on those raw materials maybe is $100,000. If I pay the $100,000 upfront, it means I have imputed $1 million and $100,000 from the beginning without producing, without selling. But what happens is I bring in the $1 million worth of raw materials. I do not pay duty on the $1 million raw materials. I use it over 12 months and I spread the duty over the 12 months period. I only pay duty when I use and sell into Nigeria. It means when we are attracting companies into Nigeria, we can attract ones from all over the world that need to export to other parts of the world or other parts of Africa. And we've seen it work. I'll give examples before the end of this session. We've seen it work where we have companies come from other parts of the world, set up in Nigeria, produce and export to other parts of Africa and other parts of the world. It means Nigeria becomes a hub. You bring in your raw materials. You are not worried because you have not front-loaded the additional cost of duty on those raw materials. So we attract more people in. If they take those those finished products, maybe to Ghana or to any other country, they don't pay duty. But if they take those finished products to, let's assume Aja, from Ibejuleki or from Ekwe, they pay duty on the raw materials alone. It means the zone is a very good hub for you to actually operate and expand. As I said, also Pan-African Global Service Delivery Center. So when you look at okay, I explained that already. It's computed on only the foreign components of the raw materials you brought in. And I'll give an example when we go to the next slide. Okay, my slide isn't moving. Okay, it has moved. Good. So this is just a table explaining it and giving a breakdown of what you're doing. And I'll give us an example with a pen or something else here. Yeah. So we have the action and we have the treatment. The first one is importation into the free zone. When you bring in your raw materials, how is it treated? No duty. When you bring in CKD, that's completely knocked down, semi-knocked down, into the zone, also no duty. Now, note every point. It has to come into the zone. The zone is fully controlled, as all the relevant government agencies present there. So when you are bringing those things in, they are properly recorded. You cannot say you are bringing them into the zone and take them to Aja where there's no zone. No, that won't work. It has to be in the zone, and you pay duty once it is leaving the zone. Now, importation of equipment, no duty. Construction parts, no duty. Operational vehicles, no duty. Now, when you are exporting from the zone, when you are taking your finished products from the zone into the customs territory, now this is the explanation now. If I am producing this item, I hope you can all see this, and I bring in different components of this item into the zone. Now, from this item, it cost me $100 to make, and I am selling it for $200 from the zone. Components from America cost me $50. Components from Nigeria cost me $50. That's means the $100 components that are imputed. when I'm taking this thing out from the zone to maybe I'm selling it to Adetola, Adetola could also check the responses. On what will the duty be calculated? When I'm selling this, now the cost is $200. If I'm bringing this complete from America, $200, it will be calculated on $200. Well, if I'm taking it from the zone, $50 component from America, $50 component from Nigeria, making it $100 component, and I'm selling for $200. On what would the duty be calculated? Adetola, could you kindly check the chat? I don't think I can see it because of my screen. And tell me
Okay,
if you
I'm
have
checking.
responses. Yeah.
But
On what?
can I respond to?
Yes,
or
you can
let's just
respond.
wait.
Okay,
Let's see.
you can wait a little, then you respond after
Okay,
that.
let's see. Anybody who wants to give an answer, please just drop your answer in the chat box.
Yeah, just like 30 seconds, then Adetola
Yes.
answers, then move on.
Anybody? Okay, nobody yet.
If there's no answer, it means I'm not passing any message across. Is that what it means?
Okay, maybe, you know what? Let's try this again. Would you come again with a question?
Okay, this is the question.
Please, let's all pay attention so that we can answer.
So this, okay, let me use a pen instead of that. So I'm producing this pen in the zone. This cover, I got it from America, brought it into Nigeria, duty-free, into the zone rather, duty-free. This tube, I bought it from Nigeria and brought it into the zone, duty-free. I brought it into the zone. I bought it from Nigeria, I brought it into the zone. Cost me $50. This cover cost me $50. That makes $100. Then cost of production, everything, I'm selling it to Adetola for $200. I am trying to take it out of the zone, and they've told me I have to pay duty on this. On what component or cost will I pay the duty on?
Anybody willing to answer the question now? I think it's clearer. Anybody going? Okay, anybody?
Okay, Adetola, you can try.
Okay, so I think you will be charged based on what you imported in the dollar. Yes, from the US. That is for $50.
Great. So you know what that now gives you? That encourages people to operate more in the zone. And companies that just wanted to import into Nigeria, making us a consuming economy, would now be encouraged to set up their factories and manufacture in the zone. Now, the other question, okay, I'll take this clarification at the end of this run through. Now, when you're taking it, exporting into the customs territory, but the goods were imported as finished products, you did not manufacture them. It is the total value. So if I brought this pen straight into the zone as a full pen, I didn't manufacture it. When I'm taking it to the customs territory, being Nigeria from the zone, then I pay full value on this. So when I'm taking goods from the zone into the customs territory, where all materials were sourced locally, I do not pay duty because I bought it from Nigeria. But when I'm taking these same goods to other countries outside Nigeria, I brought this from America, from any part of the world. I didn't pay duty. I still do not pay duty when I'm taking it out. It's to encourage people to use Nigeria as a manufacturing base. When I'm doing temporary transfer, I don't pay duty because I'm just taking it out temporarily and bringing it in. Now, let's explain why, because some of you will wonder, why are you giving them waivers? They won't pay duty when they brought these raw materials in. When they are taking it out of the country, they don't pay duty again. Why would that happen? You know the other benefits that the country gets when companies come into the country and are manufacturing here. There's skill transfer. Technology is imported into the country. We learn from them. We employ Nigerians. We increase our GDP. We empower our people. Also, there is what we call personal income tax that is paid to the government. So we have two options. The first option is leave those countries abroad. Don't let them come in. Let them just export their goods to Nigeria, and we just continue to be a consuming economy. The money goes back to their country, you empower their people, you employ their people, and we don't increase our own GDP. So I'll try to rush now so that we can have questions. But now free zones are changing. Free zones are changing. Remember what happened during COVID, where everybody had to work remotely, where we realized that we had to change the way business is being done. And we could not retain the traditional way of just doing business and expect to scale or to improve our economy. We also know with the Free Trade Continental Agreement that Africa is being geared towards being an open market. And when it comes to trading services, for those that are in services, tech, banking, it's actually a good time for you to set up and scale because the African market is going to be very open, global, and ready to launch into the other parts of the world. Before now, traditional free zones, manufacturing, I showed you Alaro City, I showed you Dangote Industries, Lagos Free Zone. You have all the Kellogg's, Longreach, and bigger companies there, HMD, all of them in those places. But now what we have is the first digital special economic zone already licensed by NEBSA. And this is an area for businesses just like startups, fintechs, other service-based businesses, edtechs, renewable energy financing companies, and other types of companies like that. And that is introducing Etana to you. So what has happened is we cannot retain the old way of doing business by insisting that you leave your home country and set up a huge establishment, spend a lot on CapEx, spend a lot of moving costs. So what Etana is giving you is a flexible operation model where you can be operating within the free zone without being fiscally in the free zone on a day-to-day basis. And for Etana has three major pillars. The first one is policy and regulatory, where it gives you a good policy and regulatory certainty for compliance, tax incentives, your repatriation of funds is 100% guaranteed, post-registration is guaranteed, and your registration is also done virtually, which means that you can do your registration from anywhere in the world. But the other good thing is that once you're set up in Nigeria, it also helps you employ Nigerians and to also scale across Africa. But because Etana doesn't just leave you alone, Etana also has what we call a digital community, which brings everybody in the ecosystem together. It brings the founders, the business, the investors. It even brings the Wall and Ace closer to those that require their services. So it has a digital community that brings those requiring the services and the service providers together. And then there's a future-ready infrastructure, sustainable infrastructure that is in compliance with international best practice, and that can give you a live, work, and build environment. And this is all within Alaro City in Lagos. So we're not talking about a place that is not existing. It is a reality. Now, when we are looking at some of the investments, we have the FX stability, because once you're registered in the zone, you can invoice and receive your funds whatever currency of your choice. And it's easy for you to convert to whatever currency of your choice if you invoice in Naira. And it's easy for you to also repatriate because you have 100% unrestricted repatriation of your profits, your capital, and your dividends. What we are geared on is ensuring we help you to scale and to grow so that you keep remaining in Nigeria. When it comes to talent, as I said, we help you to grow. Your growth is part of our own business plan. So you do not need expatriate quota to employ foreign talents. And your visa is prioritized for processing when it comes to your SEPAC and your STR. That's your subject to regularization and your residency and alien card. And then you can own your business 100% as a foreign owner. You can own your business 100%. And as a Nigerian owner too, you can own your business 100%. It's easy for you to scale. You can structure your business in whatever way you want. Then we have what we call a one-stop shop. Now, has anybody registered a business before on this call? Do you have anybody who has registered a business? In the chat box, Adetayo, you could just, if there's any response, please. Is anybody that has registered a business?
Anyone who has registered a business, please, can you indicate in the chat box?
The chat box.
Anybody?
You've registered
Yes,
a business.
Nkechi Oguchi. Yes,
Okay,
somebody
great.
has answered.
Great. So you've registered a business before. Can you tell if can you just put in the chat box if there was any bottleneck, or if you could just unmute the person briefly, if there was any
Please, can
bottleneck?
we unmute Ukechi Oguchi?
Yeah.
Okay, let me try
Was
to
any
unmute her.
bottleneck you faced? If you had
Hold
to
on,
speak to
please.
multiple agencies, and because there's one thing about registering, the other one is when you start operating, you have to speak to multiple agencies when you want to operate and all that. Or if there's any other person outside Ikechi that wants to speak to.
I'm trying
Anybody?
to unmute Ukechi.
Okay.
Ukechi, please, did you get the question? When you were
And if you
trying
also want to speak,
to,
you can raise your hand. If you also want to speak, just raise your hand.
Yeah, I was trying to unmute. It wasn't really permitting me to do
okay, I
so.
think she's unmuted
Yes,
now, Ukechi.
yes, it took forever actually to complete the
Okay, sorry about
registration.
that. Okay.
Great. So, and that's why is there another person that wants to speak? Some of the regulatory
Any other
issues you
person
had?
that was? Any other
Any
person,
other person?
please?
Okay, let me just move on then. So, what
Okay.
Internal has done is simplified everything from pre-registration, registration, post-registration, compliance, the broad spectrum of everything you need to do. The other thing is because we have a one-stop shop, you don't need to speak to multiple government agencies. You only speak to Etana. The one-stop shop is a one-stop administrative center that has all the relevant government agencies under one roof. So you bring your application, if it's an immigration document, you submit the application to Etana. What you are just expecting is your documents come back to you. You are bringing in consignments and you want to process it, you want to clear it, just bring the documentation to Etana in the one-stop administrative center. It is sent to relevant government agencies. You have your documents back to you. So it makes it faster to start operating. The speed to market is fast. The operational and compliance checks are quickly done, and it helps you to scale faster. Okay, so what we have, I mentioned the digital community, and we have the physical infrastructure. So we have the digital community. We have audience of over 25,000, 400 plus founders, over 50 businesses in the zone, and partnerships. Market intelligence is properly accelerated and moving very fast. We have a vendor marketplace for legal, audit, accounting firms that actually come in and provide services to our enterprise. It's making it easier for you to get services rendered to you. And we also have a policy advocacy through what we call digital free zones in Nigeria, where we ensure that we have the right policy set by government at every point. And for the physical infrastructure, the physical infrastructure is built around an existing zone, which is around Alaro City. And we have a strategic partnership with AFC to fund. AFC has actually started the first round of funding, and the first side of construction will start. But already we have over 50 businesses operating in the zone that's in the Tana Digital Special Economic Zone itself. And this is a hybrid campus, residential, co-living space, live, work, and build space. That's commercial use and all.
Okay,
Great.
if I may, sir, sorry, sir.
Yes, please. Yeah.
I think someone is indicating, Abiba is saying that if you could slow down a bit.
Oh, okay. I'm fast. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you for telling me that. Okay,
Yeah.
so thank you for, I was trying to move fast so that we could have time to ask questions. Okay, so let me take it a little bit more slow. So we have over 25,000 when we call digital residents in the zone that registered with Etana. So what Etana has is, as we said, we have a lot of people in the service industry, but we are also part of your business growth. So we've set up different pillars that helps you to grow. The core business is the free special economic zone business, which is register your business and operate. But we don't leave you alone. So we have what we call an accelerator program, which helps startups and founders to have access to funding, have access to investors that can actually come in and help your business to start or grow. Then we have over 400 founders in that network too. And for the free zone itself, we have over 50 businesses that are actually keyed into the Tana business from different parts of the world and from different sectors. Now, when it comes to the marketplace, we know that as a business owner, when you come in, you need some services. Sometimes you find it difficult to search for the right service provider, to do the right research yourself. So you need people like legal firms, audit firms, accounting firms. So what we've done is we've checked and vetted some firms that we've brought into our vendor marketplace that can provide those services to you. Even when it comes to talent outsourcing. And it's good to mention that Etana is a major platform for the federal government for talent export with the Ministry of Trade and Investment for talent export, exporting talents from Nigeria to out of the world, not the running away from Nigeria, but being in Nigeria and being able to provide services to people from all over the world, which is working actually. And then for policy advocacy, we also ensure that the right regulatory framework is kept and maintained. And then we have the fiscal infrastructure in partnership with the African Finance Corporation. So let's look at the roadmap. I've mentioned most of it. Fiscal centralization, where we even have BPO services, research and development, software export services, reduces the tax exposure for you, reduces the administrative bottleneck and helps you to move faster. And it's also a gateway. We mentioned the free zone, the free trade continental agreement helps you to easily scale across Africa. And the best market is always Nigeria. It helps you as a hub to export your markets all over the world. Then operational focus, streamlined regulatory environment that helps you to just focus on what your core business is. When it comes to pricing and all the other compliance and risk mitigation, we support you in it. We give you reminders and we link you to the right people that would help you with your compliance checks, risk mitigation, and your post-compliance and post-registration requirements. So why do we have Etana now? Why Etana? Why do we need Etana? One, market opportunity. Two, it de-risk your capital. So it is a full-fledged jurisdiction that provides everything you need from beginning to the end, and that helps you to grow. And we have global partners we are collaborating with, from the federal government to NEBZA, that's Nigeria's Processing Zones Authority, to AFC, PwC, all the major entities we are collaborating with to make sure this is a success. And Etana is it's not a dream, it is actually operational as it is now. So we said the investor's perspective, because a lot of people will wonder, and someone sent me a message, just a private message that, oh, all this Oyinbo is a lot. Oh. So everything we've been speaking, let us now bring it together and check. Is the special economic zone even beneficial? Why should we have the special economic zone? Does Nigeria even gain anything from this zone? Because it seems you are giving a lot away. So let's look at some of the benefits to the country, even from the eye of the investor that is bringing in a lot of money and a lot of capital into the economy. One, human capital development, employment creation, skill and knowledge transfer. You have foreign talents that come in, train Nigerians, employ a lot of Nigerians. On a daily basis, we have thousands of people working in the free zone space on a daily basis. On the Lekki free zone axis, the Lagos Lekki free zone axis, we have thousands of people working there every day, earning their living, increasing the GDP of the country, helping them grow. Trainings, a lot of trainings keep going on, both locally and foreign trainings. And it also helps us just develop our human capital generally. And I'll give an example I like making. When the Lekki Free Zone started, and there was someone employed then as a security guard. No, not a security guard, as a gate man, because he didn't really have any skill. He was just employed as a gate man. And within a few years, he was trained to operate most of the construction machinery within that zone. At a point, he even became bigger than his employers because everybody wanted to employ him. That's the type of thing we are talking about. I'll give more examples as I go down. So it also helps the GDP It increases the GDP of the country through investment and industrial activity. We cannot keep being a consuming economy. We need to give some things away to attract these people to come into Nigeria. And over time, with a stable economy, we can then reduce some of the benefits we give. Now, there's income generation. There's personal income taxes paid by every employed staff in the zone, personal income taxes. So the government gets direct benefit from attracting these people to. So it's not just giving away, the country benefits from it. Now, for every item that is sold into Nigeria, the customs territory from the zone, for every item, you pay duty on those items. So at the end of the day, we still end up getting the benefit of the duty payment. And don't forget, Nigeria is the largest market in Africa. Most things always come into Nigeria. So we have the option of being a consuming economy or allowing them come into the country to produce these items, and then we still get benefits from it. FDIs, the capital comes in from all over the world, and then foreign reserves is also improved because the foreign direct investment. So cost of goods and services, it actually comes down when you are producing in the zone. We know items produced in the zone so far. Your power oil is produced in the zone. A lot of people use that. Kellogg's also is in the zone. We have Stearium detergent, which is also in the zone. We have several other entities like that producing in the zone. And that's where we tell us some of the success stories. I think I'll take the success stories to the investors' benefits. So when it comes to also from the investor's perspective, there's an administrative stability. You know that when I'm coming in, I submit my document in one place. This is the person I'm holding responsible. I don't need to speak to multiple government agencies. The bureaucracy is not there. The red tape is not there. There's a fast track of everything I need to do. That is an investor's haven. That is where every investor wants to be. Market access. It gives you access to every part of Africa. Capital and cost management. Your capital, it reduces your overhead, initial overhead cost, because your setup cost is reduced, because you can bring in your machinery duty-free, you can bring in the setup equipment duty-free, and also it reduces your initial operational cost, gives you more operational capital, helps you to scale faster. And because you have freedom of repatriation, you can exit anytime. And that's what every investor thinks of. When I'm coming in, will I be able to exit? Because we have a lot of people that advise investors on this call. And one of the first things investors will tell you is, I'm bringing in $100 million. How am I sure when I need to exit, I can exit? Will you hold on to my money? Will you stop me from taking my money out? No, you can easily exit. What we are building on is to ensure that we have such a stable economy that you will not wish to exit. So let's look at some of the success stories and some of the backward integration. We have a company in the zone, existing in the zone, that started from East Africa. And just for local content, the company decided to register within the zone. Within a few years, this same company is exporting to East Africa and 24 other countries all over the world. And we've seen those success stories everywhere. We have another company that started, more than one, that started importing and decided to do a backward integration, set up the factory in the zone, and they are doing very well now. And sincerely, they are enjoying the fact that they finally decided to just stop importing. So we can do this. Thousands of people trained every day, a lot of businesses setting up, a lot of people making a living from the zone. And I think even from an investor's perspective or from a regulator's perspective, the free zone is still always the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Let me just say, okay, thank you, Adetayo. That was really,
I can stop
really
sharing,
insightful.
right?
Yeah, you can stop sharing.
Yeah, I'll stop
I felt
sharing,
like
then
I
we
was
can
in
go to
class.
questions.
Yes, I felt like I was in class.
I
I
was
would
trying
just
not
say
to sound
something. I
like a
think what
lecturer
really,
too much.
well, if it was a lecture, it was a very, very insightful one and a very enjoyable one. So I want to say very big well done. Thank you very much. I know you tried your best to touch a lot of the topics. So for me, I know please, you can start dropping your questions on the chat box. Please, thank you a lot. Okay, we have just some comment. Abiba is saying thank you. Messi is saying thank you. Please, let's put in our questions. Questions, please. Questions.
So I'll feel so sad if there are no questions. I'll feel I didn't do a good job. So let's
No,
try
I'm
to
sure
ask questions.
people are working on it. People are typing in their questions. There will be questions. So I just want to say that what really stood out for me was the fact that you had mentioned earlier that people wonder, why do free zone get so much how do I put it? Why do they get maybe like a waiver? Why do they get so much gap? And then I've been able to realize that free zones, the reason why they get some, because it boosts the economy of the country. We are talking about adding more to the GDP. We are talking about industrialization. We are talking about job creation. And that is one thing that every GDP of an economy needs for it to grow. Another thing is the import duty exemption. That is the tax exemption. I think that's great. And then the transition from traditional free zones to the digital free zone. We all agree that the world is becoming digital. We are in a world, we are in a situation whereby everything is going digital. And to have a digital platform where we can still go on with trading as if it were done on the normal physical free trade zone is very, very beautiful. And I want to say well done to Etana. So before I keep running on my own, there's a question. It says, what's the process of setting up in Etana? What's the process of setting up in Etana?
Okay, to set up in Etana, Etana has made it very seamless. That all you just have to do is go on to etana.africa, and then you fill in all your requests, and someone contacts you immediately, and you can commence your setup. The essence of this is to ensure that you can set up from anywhere in the world. Now, part of the questions people ask when you speak to them initially was, oh, I don't want to come to Africa. Do I have to bring all my family over? Do I have to stop my company here to start up a new company there? Also, then you can actually set up your company without leaving or breaking your bank. And the cost of setup is $2,000 if you're setting up in Etana, with a renewal fee of $1,150 every year. And that payment can also be structured for you when you sign up to set up your company.
Okay.
And with that, you get your certificate of registration and your operating license, and also a registered office address, where even though you're not present, your correspondence can come, your compliance checks can be done, and due diligence can be done on you.
Thank you very much. So if I can reiterate, that means from anywhere in the world, you can set up your company using Etana as a platform, the digital platform. I think that's really wonderful. Who knows? Maybe I'll be setting up my company soon.
Yeah,
okay, any
welcome.
other questions? Thank you. Okay, let me see. Okay, so there's another question. What measures are Etana putting in place to enable ease of onboarding and engagement? I don't know if you can see. Can you see the chat box, sir?
Yes, I think I just
Okay,
opened it
what
now.
measures?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the question. What measures are Etana putting in place to enable ease of onboarding and engagement with a talent pool, specifically from professional service providers, in order to ensure value for money?
Great. Okay, before I answer that, in the chat box also, my colleague has also put the full link to set up in Etana. And at every point, there's always someone holding your hand through the process. So that's in the time.
Okay.
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 Now, let me go to that question first. Now, I mentioned earlier on that Etana is a strategic partner with the federal government, the only partner so far for talent exports. Talent export in the sense that we have a lot of professionals in Nigeria, very youthful economy, smart people, educated people, and we need to export our talents. And we are many in Nigeria. The best way always is not just to look within the country, but to look outwards to be able to render your services. So we are a strategic partner with the federal government for talent exports, which means from Nigeria, you can send out your talents to everywhere in the world. And we are signing up a lot of BPOs and also talent users from all over the world. We also signed a strategic partnership last week with InnoPower to move this forward, which is providing talents to the US, to Canada, and to the UK. When it comes to professionals also, there are two ways to it. One, professionals required to provide services to free zone enterprises or to members of the community within Etana, and professionals that want to export their services all over the world. That's where the strategic partnership with the federal government goes to. For those that want to provide services to the free zone enterprises in Etana, we have what we call a channel partnership, where we go into a strategic partnership with you. And when our enterprises require services of some service providers or services of some maybe consultants and all, we refer you to them. We don't influence, but we refer you to those enterprises. And we've seen it work because you're already vetted. So the enterprises come to you because they are sure of who they are using.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I think I will just reiterate again, for those of us that are interested in how to set up on Etana, Martins Eke has been able to drop the link. So I believe we can just click on the link to know how to set up. Okay, let me see. I think we have, okay, let me see if any of this is a question. So somebody said from Fit Ayolauni, is the Etana Free Zone a residential area? And people live in Etana?
Yeah, so the Etana zone is a mixed development area. Live, work, play, or live, work, build, as is used in some jurisdiction. So it means you can live there, you can work there, and you can build and play there. So yes, you can live in Etana. You can work from Etana. Okay. You can actually live in Etana and not work in Etana. You can live in Etana and be working from anywhere in the world. Yeah, because it gives you access to co-working spaces, a living area, and it is built around Alaro City. So Alaro City is a sustainable city. Renewable energy. It's a very green city. Renewable energy, uninterrupted power supply, a secured area, built around 2,000 hectares. Now, to just give you the sheer size of that, VI is about 700 and something hectares, and Alaro City is 2,000 hectares. And the entire free zone is 16,500 hectares. So that is a city, yes, with the seaport. And the seaport is the first real deep seaport we have in Nigeria. The vessels berthing at that seaport, they are 3 times larger than any vessel that had ever berthed in Nigeria before the seaport was constructed. The new international airport is coming up just across from the Etana zone. So it's properly structured in a way to ensure that you can live peacefully around there. And the way the structure is the infrastructure is built in such a way that it will not disturb your ability to live and work peacefully. So there's no flight path over you. The traffic is rerouted in such a way that it doesn't create a bottleneck for you if you're living there.
So much. Okay. Thank you for that wonderful explanation. I guess Etana is ×3 of the VI then. If it's, you said 2,000, right?
Yes, 2,000 hectares. Yeah, that's the entire Alaro City.
Wow. So, hold on. Okay, that's not. Okay, so my question, sir. Okay, yes, we mentioned the regulatory framework for the free trade zone as NEPZA, and you noted that it has been for 30 years. And I just want to know, sir, has there been any kind of order or challenge that the framework has posed on free trade activities, free trade zone activities, based on the fact that it's 30 years? Has there been any amendments or whatsoever when it comes to NEPZA?
Okay, great.
Thank you, sir.
Trust the lawyer to ask the difficult question. And I think that was a mistake I made. I didn't sell you from the beginning that don't ask any difficult question. Okay, so great. The regulation, as we know, the law is in need of a review. But the good thing is that the law allows you to have what we call the free zone regulation, which provides regulatory framework and directives on operationalizing the law. So over time, some of the changes, the changes that have been happening in the global space, we have been able to, by regulation, keep up with it. But at this time, as I said, COVID changed a lot of things. And at this time, with the new way of doing business all over the world, with the shift to more towards global trade and the need to ensure that you bring services closer to the users without having to necessarily leave where you are, and everybody talking about carbon footprint and different other things, we need to review or have an amendment to that act, which is actually ongoing. But it is not taking away the general free zone or special economic zone framework. It is actually optimizing it. The good thing is the law itself was properly drafted at the initial stage. All we just have to do now is ensure we just put it more in line with global best practices and optimize.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you said it's ongoing. Thank you very much. So
Ongoing.
for a follow-up question by Faith, who had earlier asked if you can live in Etana. So she said, so that means people can buy real properties in
So
Etana.
yeah, there are different options available to you. You can register with Etana and also key into the general physical space, depending on the type of activity you are carrying out. If you are carrying out, because what Etana does is not huge manufacturing and production, but it's built around a space that also allows for huge manufacturing and production. So if you're into huge manufacturing and production, you are registered under a different platform or framework other than the Etana platform. But if you are more into the soft assembling, into some tech services, you can still get spaces. And with the Etana district coming up, you can actually get office spaces, apartments, storage spaces, and different types of spaces. So it's actually caters for everybody, SMEs, huge companies, and the zone is built around an existing physical infrastructure, which is the Alaro City Free Zone.
Okay, I don't know if that answered your question, Faith Ayolaoni. She's asking, so can you own like a portion of land at Etana?
Oh yeah, you can.
Okay,
You can.
okay, okay.
You can.
Okay, I think that is answered. She has answered.
Yeah.
Okay, so she said, okay, we have Olayemi. Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to access the chat box. Olayemi Kuti said, we'd like to know more about that. What exactly are you talking about, Olayemi Kuti, so that we can be very specific here?
I think it's the question from Faith also about buying land or real estate in Etana. And really, Olayemi, if you need to know more, you can. My colleague has also put a calendar link, and also I'll set up in Etana in the chat box. And the good thing is we are on a platform with a law firm that can also always help you do a lot of your processing and documentation where necessary. So you've got the full service on this platform now, where you have the law firm, which is Wall and Ace, that can provide a lot of advisory and initial market entry advisory to you, and you have Etana, which actually gives you the platform to operate and scale.
Okay, thank you very much. My last question. Looking at the very big platform like Etana, or let me just say the free trade zone in general, there will always be a situation of maybe dispute. I just want to know what mechanism do you use for dispute resolution? You know, is the judicial system, when I mean the judicial system, the court system, is it well enlightened and encompassing enough to attend to dispute resolution when it comes to free trade zones? And as you said, the transition from the traditional free trade zone to the digital free trade zone. And if not, do we have the situation whereby or maybe in the contractual agreement is the place for arbitration or mediation? That is my question to you, sir.
Okay, great. So when it comes to enlightenment, the The judiciary is well enlightened about the general free zone setup. And what we do is we continue to do more of education and enlightenment, especially when new schemes like the Digital Special Economic Zone is coming up, to let them understand this. Now, the major thing for when it comes to dispute resolution is speed. One is speed. The other one is the integrity of the dispute resolution platform. Dispute resolution is majorly contractual. But what we do is we have also created a framework where your first point of call is a mediation service that Etana is actually a part of to help you ensure that you don't necessarily have to go to court.
Okay.
And which NEBSA is usually also a part of. And over time, we've been able to resolve a lot of disputes that way because it's faster, it's a win-win, and we ensure that you can. So that is the first one. And also NEBSA has its own ADR center where you can also make use of. But because this position is also contractual, you can opt to use the court system. But an arbitration is very encouraged. And what we are doing now is in line with other jurisdictions like that has done things like what Etana is doing. We are also creating a wider dispute resolution framework that can ensure your speed and the integrity of and trust in the dispute resolution system. Just like what Lagos State did at some point, where they had the small claims court and some other ones to fast track dispute resolution. What we are doing is also to ensure we have a proper fast track system recognized by the courts, the judiciary, and the court system in Nigeria. So even once you get your the decision from there, either through arbitration or mediation, it's something that is properly enforceable. And that's also giving a lot of comfort to most of the international investors that are planning to come into Etana.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, because investors always look forward to the method of dispute resolution when we want to enter. Thank you so much, Mr. Adetayo. I cannot express how much this has been enlightening for me personally. And I know for all our listeners, everybody that's on the call right now, they've enjoyed, they've learned one thing or the other. Walanese LP is very grateful to be able to share this knowledgeable session online. Thank you. And this is where we wrap it up today. In case you have any question, I'm sure they've put the link on the chat box. Okay, sir.
I have my own question before you go. So my question is...
Okay, Mr. Adetayo, ask the question.
When are you guys moving to Etana? When are you registering Etana? When are you start setting up your business in Etana? You might not be able to answer me immediately, but I'm sure you could always jump on the link and send your questions to some of my colleagues and start your registration process. The good thing is we have lawyers, we have consultants on the call. You have some entities that are trying to come into the country that are not even so sure how do we navigate. And there's a huge cost involved in doing research. You don't know where to start from. Just come over to us. We'll lead you through the entire process.
Okay, thank you. That was a very precise and clear one. I'm sure you've all heard what Mr. Adetayo said. Jump on the call and let's be a part of Etana. So thank you once again, Mr. Adetayo. Thank you for everyone on the call. And when we reach out again, I hope you'll be there to answer us. Thank you very much. And on that note, we have come to the end of today's Legal Insight series. You can reach out to us on our social media platform. Walanese is on Instagram. Walanese is on LinkedIn. We are on Facebook. And we will be very, very happy to receive any of your questions, or if there's any topic you want us to bring up on one of our webinar series, we will be very accommodating of that. Once again, thank you, Mr. Adetayo, and we look forward to the progress of Etana once again. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
You too. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.